You're listening to Bring Me the Axe. I'm Brian White, one half of this morbid equation, and I'm joined by my co-host and actual brother, Dave White. Dave, how you doing?
Well, I'm okay. There are a lot of children outside of my house screaming. They're not technically they're not outside of my house screaming like at my house. They're just in the vicinity of my
Oh,
apartment.
it'd be
And
really weird if there was like a dozen children
they're just
just pointing
just
at your
shouting
house
at
and
my house.
just screaming. I think you'd have a real problem. Yeah, I get some kids
Couple,
outside.
a couple actually.
Yeah, I got some kids outside of my house also screaming at the house, but they're actually
Do,
screaming at the house.
do they belong to you though?
No,
No.
no, oh God, no, my kids don't go outside. Are you
Go
crazy?
throw rocks at them.
Yeah, I should do that. Also, it's hot as fucking balls, man.
Mm.
I thought we were past this. Yeah. Anyways, so we practically grew up in neighborhood video stores, and the steady diet of utter garbage that those shops provided us with continues unabated to this day. And there's no one else that I enjoy chopping it up with more about trashy movies than Dave. And just before we get into it, here's a little housekeeping. If you want to keep up with us between episodes, you can also find us pretty much on all the socials by searching Bring Me the Axe Horror Podcast. We've also got a sweet website at bringmetheaxe.com. You can listen to all our past shows there and read the transcripts. You can also contact us directly at bringmetheaxepod@gmail.com with any questions, comments, or suggestions. Do let us know if there's a movie that you love and would like to hear us give it the business. Lastly, if you like what you hear, you can subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, and you'd be doing us a favor by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. So, God damn it, get to it, please.
It's not hard. It's not hard. You just touch the thing. You touch your screens now. You
It's
don't
a
have to
thing.
do anything.
It seems way more complicated than it is when you think about it. Like it's this, but it's literally you go review, and then it says how many stars, and you push 5, and then you push submit, and then that's it. It's awesome. So just want to get that all out of the way right at the top of the show. So this kicks off our What the Fuck series, a series that I hope we'll come back to in the future because this is going to be a lot of fun. For this series, we both picked a horror movie that very easily evades a description. And they're movies that are so unusual that it's otherwise very hard to explain to someone why they might take the time to watch this movie. And we're kicking it off with my pick. So let me give you a taste of what's coming.
There wasn't enough room in Toyland to escape the terror that rocked Baby's cradle.
I notice you call him Baby, and the case history doesn't show any other name. What is his real name?
Just Baby.
To Baby, life was not a giant playpen. It was a living hell. He wasn't allowed to walk, he wasn't allowed to talk, but he was capable of it. Baby is a full-grown man trapped by 3 women with no way out.
Damn you.
You should have let them take him.
Oh, but you're not talking about that circus.
Mm-hmm. They wanted to put him in a sideshow. We should have said yes.
You're calling your brother a freak.
Oh, Mama. I just thought it'd be better that way.
3, 4, close the door.
I just wanted to face you one more time to tell you that you're sick. You're the one who needs help, not Baby.
That's just so much horse. You want him for yourself. Well, agency or no agency, you ain't gonna get him. Because Baby belongs to us. No, to me.
He belongs to himself. He's not the subhuman thing you've made him.
Baby? What have you done to my baby? What do you want my baby? What do you want him? No, what's going to happen to my baby? What's going to happen to him?
The Baby, a Scotia International release. Starring Anjanette Comer, Ruth Roman, Mariana Hill, Suzanne Zenor, and David Manzi as Baby. Rated PG.
Whoo, boy.
So there it is, The Baby. This is one I've been looking forward to for a long time. Like we've had this one planned for quite some time, and the time is finally here. I would say this is one of my favorite movies.
How is that possible? I have seen this
Dude,
movie more than once, and I get liking it, but sure.
Yeah, my favorite. Well, also like my favorite movie is also Escape from New York,
And that I understand because that is a fantastic film.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is as I once met Adrienne Barbeau, and I told her that, and she said I was crazy for that. So I kind of get it, you know. Yep. God damn it. So this is just, it's so fucking good. I don't really know how else to explain it.
It's a baby, and he's trapped by 3 women. Hey, do you think this was written by a man?
Yeah, trapped in a world he never made. So yeah, caution. As usual, we're gonna spoil the shit out of this one, but I very strongly recommend watching the movie first and then coming back to this. Usually, I couldn't care less, but this is a movie that is so unusual and so full of crazy plot twists that I'd really hate to be the one that ruins it for you. It's currently streaming on Tubi, as all good movies are. And as of this recording. And Arrow has a really nice Blu-ray of it. That's a reissue of the old Severin DVD. So you got plenty of options to watch it. So do that, come back, or else, you're taking your life into your own hands.
At least watch the trailer, because Jesus Christ.
Here's the
trailer's like, here's the entire fucking movie. You don't need any context because you're still going to have questions at the end anyway.
The trailer really does give away some very vital plot twists. Thankfully, I saw the trailer after I saw the movie. So when this movie kind of unfolds and reveals itself, I was just so fucking delighted. So here's some facts. The year was 1973.
1973.
Yep. Year of our Lord. So some other movies that were released that year: Messiah of Evil, which also stars, is her name Mariana Hill?
Mariana Hill. Yeah.
Mariana Hill. She plays Germaine. The Wicker Man also came out this year. The Iron Rose, which is a really, really nice Jean Roland movie that is...
There's not a lot of those.
That's true. This one is definitely, I very greatly enjoy it. I don't know if I'd say that I like his movies. There's definitely something to them, but I find them very hard to watch.
A lot of sexy vampires.
A lot of sexy vampires. No sexy
everything in his movies.
Oh yeah. No sexy vampires in this one. This is a whole other thing. Also, Flesh for Frankenstein came out in 1973.
Also sexy.
Yep. And you know what else came out in 1973? The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Banner year. I fucking what are you making those noises for?
The Exorcist. I can take it or leave it.
God, it's a good movie, man. So cast and crew. The director is a man named Ted Post, and he is a pure utility director. He worked in film and television, kind of in equal measure. Like a lot of the guys that we tend to cover on this, they kind of go either or. Like they were all big, theatrical guys, or they were TV guys who did the occasional theatrical movie.
I would say any movie pre like 1975, 76, like when you start to get the auteur, the idea of the auteur.
Yeah.
Because before that, it's just all, you did have some auteurs, you had your Hitchcocks and the like, but it's mostly a lot of just like journeyman filmmakers who just, it's a fucking job.
Yeah. Post is definitely...
Case in point, this movie.
Yep, Ted Post.
Because this man is a very capable director.
He is. So he's probably best known for his work on Rawhide, which is what put him in touch with Clint Eastwood. He also did some episodes of Peyton Place and The Twilight Zone.
He did like 140 episodes of Peyton Place.
Yeah.
Which is like the entire series.
Yeah. So theatrically, however, he's the man behind Beneath the Planet of the Apes, which...
Great movie.
Not my favorite of the series, but it's up there, and I would put it neck and neck with the original.
Is that the last? Is that the one with Ricardo Montalban?
No.
God damn it.
Beneath the Plate, I know we just went over this.
I'm running out of options here. Process of
No.
elimination. I'll get there. I know it's
No.
not the first one.
I believe Montalban is in Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
He's in the last one. That's all I know.
Yeah,
That's all I remember.
Sure which one it is. But no, Beneath the Planet of the Apes is the one where is the direct sequel to Planet of the Apes. And that also, like this movie, has a fucking crazy twist ending. You've seen it, right? That's the one with the bomb and the mutants underneath. Yeah.
I thought that was the last one.
No, it's just the second one. There's like 100 Planet of the Apes.
There's 5 of them.
It seems like there's 100. There's also a TV show. Yeah, he also worked on the Dirty Harry sequel, Magnum Force, and also
Terrible movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it, but I don't really give a fuck about Dirty Harry.
Yeah, the thing about Clint Eastwood, he can get fucked. That guy sucks.
Suck it, Clint Eastwood. But he also
that's our official position on Clint Eastwood. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. I'm not going to bring up the chair. Also, I mean, speaking of, fuck this actor, he was also responsible for the breakthrough Chuck Norris picture, Good Guys Wear Black. Yeah. Not a bad movie, but it means having to sit through a Chuck Norris movie. Cast, Anjanette Comer is the lead, and she is an actress primarily known for her work in guest spots on TV shows. They all have titles like Troy McClure movies, like Banyan, Banning, and Then Came Bronson.
Yeah, shit that was on for like a season, like a mid-season replacement. She was in Dead of Night, though.
Yes, you know what else she was in? Renee Cardona's Night of a Thousand Cats.
Ooh, that one is hard. I am a big Renee Cardona fan, even though he did kill animals in his movies. I am still a big fan of his, and yet that one is real tough.
Yeah, how many cats do you think he killed in Night of a Thousand Cats?
Probably all of them.
Probably all 1,000 of them.
Yes.
Yep. We also feature Ruth Roman here, who not exactly like a big name leading lady. She's kind of a model, like a minor league.
She came late, I think, in this, like the very end of the studio system.
Yes,
she was kind of a replacement for like Joan Crawford, because she looks like Joan Crawford.
She does. Actually, I confuse her very easily with Rosalind Russell from Gypsy. Like they both look kind of the same, but also I can see why they would have brought her in for Joan Crawford, because she does.
I think she was at Warner Brothers, and it was like right after Joan Crawford's like career kind of tanked and she got fired.
Yeah.
From I think it was Warner Brothers. But she was brought in kind of to, I think, sort of replace the ones that are sort of aging out. But she's in Strangers on a Train. I think that's probably the biggest one she's in.
Yeah.
But she plays a very odd character in Day of the Animals. Have you ever seen that?
A million years ago.
Where Leslie Nielsen gives the weirdest fucking performance of his entire career, and that man has had a lot of weird roles. This one is like, if you ever want to watch like just a little bit Airplane, like just slightly pre-Airplane Leslie Nielsen like sexually assault a woman, it is deeply upsetting. That movie is really, really weird.
Yeah. I've seen those movies. I call them like killer animal movies. I've seen
animal attack movies. I fucking love animal attack movies.
Animal attack movies, killer animal attack. I've seen them called natural horror movies. And I don't know how I feel about that. It's kind of like how
in a way.
I suppose. It's kind of like how people are kind of like doing what people used to do with like heavy metal, where they would just sort of like attach like they create like new subgenres. Like what was it when The Witch came out and everybody was talking about fucking folk horror, but all they could name was Blood on Satan's Claw and Witchfinder General and The Wicker Man, and they make it sound like it was a big thing that existed before that.
And I mean, it is, if you like fucking weird Russian indie movies from the 70s.
Hey, V.
And I don't like those.
No. Lastly, we got David Mooney, who plays Baby. And this was
Don't expect much from him. This might have killed his career.
I'm going to say it did, because this was kind of like a breakout role for him, unfortunately, because prior to this, he had roles bearing names like Photographer, Barfly, and Young Man. And so at the end of the 70s, it appears that he bailed on acting and he became a high school teacher in Texas.
Oh, God bless you.
Yeah.
Baby.
See, I think he's great in this.
You also forgot Michael Pataki is in this as a fucking creep.
Is he Dennis the Menace?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Like
remember him
the
from
thing is
Halloween 4.
yeah, because there's a bunch of people in this also, like Suzanne Zenor, who's like another, like she was in a lot of TV stuff too, usually as pretty blonde girl. She was on MASH. She was on
Now, which one is she?
she's Alba.
Oh, she's the other sister.
Yes.
And she is basically, here's what I imagined this time around when I saw her. I was like, I bet when Sherry Moon said, I don't know how to act, I'm not an actor, Rob Zombie was like, here's a movie. Watch what she does and just do that in every other movie you're ever in. Now,
Yeah.
I am not going to shit on Sherry Moon because I actually think that she is a decent actor and does not get enough credit. But every frame this woman is in, I'm like, Jesus Christ, it is like a 1-for-1 comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Also, like as we mentioned before, Mariana Hill, she plays the other sister, Jermaine. I'm trying to think of
Who was
the
also in Schizoid, which I watched recently. It is not good.
that's the Klaus Kinski one.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's the A side to a really great double feature, though.
That's true.
Yep. So let's do some notes here. According to David Mooney, Abe Polsky took the seed from the story from some news item in the 60s about a family which did this very thing to a child to keep the welfare payments coming. Is this true? I doubt it.
I mean, it's true in that way that, like, this movie is based on a true story. Like, yeah, people do shit like this all the time. It's fucking horrifying. But I don't think it's quite like this.
I gotta wonder, like, I thought about this movie a lot in the last couple of days, just sort of in preparation of this. And, like, I reached a sort of point where I was thinking, like, is it possible? Is it even remotely possible to keep a person in a state of arrested development like this into their 20s or 30s? And I mean, I'm giving it way too much credit, but I really don't think in a real world context that you could do something like this. I think that you're just, as you develop as a person, even if your caregiver is holding you back, you're going to eventually learn to talk. You're going to eventually start walking around on your own. But like, I think I'm giving this way too much thought. But like, I
Yeah,
just
I
don't.
mean, I hate to break it to you. Abe Polsky, not a great screenwriter.
He also wrote The Gay Deceivers.
He did. And I'm guessing you've never seen The Gay Deceivers.
I have heard of it. I have not seen it.
It is not a very good movie. It's pretty offensive. It's about two guys who it's kind of like a Three's Company situation.
It's Three's Company,
two guys.
right?
Yeah, it's two guys who pretend to be gay to get out of going into the military.
Yeah.
It is notable only because I think it is Michael Greer's first movie, and again, you probably don't know who he is. He was a big theater guy.
I know who Michael Greer is.
But yeah, he is great. It's the only reason to see the movie. Otherwise, it's pretty forgettable.
Yeah. Also, this script had been kicking around Los Angeles for a couple of years before the movie was produced.
Yeah, because everybody read it and was like, what? No.
That's the thing is, it is amazing that this movie exists at all, because it is, if I read this and was like, you want me to be in this movie, this will be the end of my career, which it was not for basically everybody except for David Mooney.
And like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's bizarre. But I think what makes this movie so goddamn weird is that everybody plays this straight. There is no irony. This is not a tongue-in-cheek movie. They were all just like, we got a fucking job to do. Let's get in there and do it.
Now, you keep saying that this movie doesn't make any sense. I think it makes perfect sense.
Changes. It does not. It goes off the rails several times.
Oh yeah, but once you hit that twist at the end, and then it twists again, I think it all all the pieces fall into place.
Also, y'all, if you do watch this, just know it is insanely ableist.
Yeah. So what is it? Post had to basically be badgered into making the movie. Which is understandable. Like we said, it is a very alienating affair, which is probably why I like it as much as I do, because there's not another movie like this. It is as unique as they come.
I gotta wonder when they decided to make this, when this got greenlit by, I would love to know who is the intended audience for this? I mean, it's obviously, this is a drive-in picture, clearly.
Yeah,
and that's where it made picture at best.
Yeah, that's where it made its money. Like it definitely, like in those shitty little theaters in cities, like that they call grindhouses. it was that kind of an environment where the movie really kind of took off, because it's just that kind of audience. It's fucking weird, and um to sell it, like the all the poster is really the only kind of marketing that they did, and it's just a singular point of sale marketing poster that's a crib with like you can't see the person, but there's obviously like an adult in it, and like in one hand he's got a
It is a very
hatchet.
provocative poster.
Yeah, and then standing off to the side is like a woman with a fucking teddy bear and a negligee, like looking all sexy and shit. So, like to try and like say like, oh, there's some sexy shit in this movie. Whew,
Well, there is some sexy shit in this movie, and it is deeply uncomfortable.
it is so unpleasant. Yeah, it is. So, the
There's
original,
also an air of menace to this entire movie.
the whole thing. I saw Ruth Roman in one review referred to as casually sinister.
Yeah,
which is
well,
such a
the
great-
two sisters look like straight up Manson girls.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure that was deliberate. So the original audio mix of the movie included David Mooney's voice doing all the baby sounds, but subsequent releases, there was probably a VHS release of this, and if you can find it, that's probably got the original audio track on this. But when I was remastered and brought to DVD, probably with, I think Severin was the first company to really release it, they could not find the original audio materials, so they had to use like canned baby sounds.
And that makes it even weirder.
Way worse. That baby wail is so awful. It really, really strikes directly at the heart. Also, I believe this is the first movie that we've done that's rated PG, and I don't know how the fuck this movie is rated PG.
No, Jaws is PG.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, it's PG because it's 1973, so it's that or R, and there's nothing explicit. I mean, they swear a couple times. Everything else is kind of just implied.
I suppose that is that.
Now,
it
there's
really
weird
is
violence too, I guess.
It really is like a by the book. Like the MPAA wasn't like being guided by like opinion so much as they just had a checklist, and we're like,
yeah, no,
okay,
they got halfway through this movie and we're like, I don't want to watch the rest. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's all in the back half.
Yep. So let's get into it. The movie opens with a title sequence on a dark study as our protagonist, Anne, leafs through a file containing photos of a boy who appears to grow older the more photos she looks at, but all the while remains in diapers. As she reaches the last of the photos, we see a fully grown-ass man in a crib wearing a diaper, and then she shares the photos with an older woman who we will later learn is her mother-in-law, and they study them with grim expressions and then exchange a look of approval. And then as the titles conclude, Anne arrives at the home of the Wadsworths.
I mean, you're already uncomfortable. I mean, this is less than a minute in, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to do this again.
The music playing over the titles, I believe, is
the music in this is fucking wild.
Yeah, because you've got that like swinging crazy hippie jazz, and then there's also that like dour cello shit that they keep doing.
Yep.
Yeah, and I believe it's the cello stuff that's playing as she's like looking at the pictures. And it's all like super underlit. Like it's almost like she's looking at this by like fucking firelight or candlelight or something.
Yeah. Oh no, you expect a black glove killer in this movie.
Yeah.
100%. You
does,
don't get one.
No, but it looks like we're being set up. So yeah, as the titles conclude, Anne arrives at the home of the Wadsworths, and this is where we first meet Alba, who's one of the Wadsworth girls. And then she's kind of bubbly in this scene, which is not how the character plays. Because
she comes across like Rhoda Penmark 15 years later.
Yeah, and then we meet Mrs. Wadsworth,
Ruth Roman. Ruth Roman's performance brought to you by Winston Cigarettes.
She's got the voice for sure. Yeah,
yeah. It's like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, but like the sequel. Like what happened 20 years later.
Yeah. Yep. She enthusiastically greets Anne. And Anne is from
in a righteous caftan.
Yep. Oh yeah, the fashion in this movie, high 70s. It's all like earth tones and
yeah, no, this is like when people are like, oh man, the 70s, they must have been so cool and hip and swinging. No, they were fucking ugly, just like the 80s. Here's why.
This was peak polyester season too. Yeah, everything's brown, everything's orange, everything's avocado. Like the style at the time.
I know into your belt.
So Anne is from the welfare office, and we learn that she specifically asked to have this
Yeah,
case
she says, "I made a special effort to get this case." Why?
because
Why?
it's just so interesting. She says,
Listen, I will tell you, I used to be a social worker. This movie is way off the mark, tell you that.
"Yeah,
Also, you don't look through cases and be like, you know what, I want this one. This one sounds fun and sexy.
yeah."
Because if you do say that, you need to be fired. Actually, I worked with a girl who did say that and did that. And she
Ah,
was fired.
that's terrible, man.
But hey, I hope it worked out for him.
She probably ended up at another welfare office.
Yeah, as a fucking client. Hey.
Hey. So we also find out that as well as Alba, Mrs. Wadsworth has another daughter named Germaine.
And
Andy,
Jesus Christ, when she enters this frame,
she is, yeah. So everybody in this family is really really weird, but there is a wildness and like an animalism to the way that she presents
she
herself.
has got a hee-haw wig on. She has got a dress she stole from the set of the last picture show, and those shoes look like she found them on the side of the fucking road.
Yeah.
This outfit is insane. It's like John Waters directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It is so crazy. I laughed out loud.
Yeah. And like every time she's on screen, like it's obvious it was very much a deliberate wardrobe decision because her both of
She's
the
wearing a potato sack, basically.
yep. Yeah, she's supposed to be kind of naive and a little, I don't know, dim is kind of the impression that I get cuz both of the girls have very like distinct personalities where they're different but they're both sort of arrested at a particular age. And Jermaine's is like naive 13-year-old, and she dresses in the way that she thinks like an adult woman does, and she does her hair in the way that she thinks like an adult woman does, but she looks like a maniac.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't know better and you were like, "Oh, directed by Tom Post," I would say somebody directed this movie.
There's plenty of great direction in this. Um, so yeah, there's also a third child simply named Baby. And
Oh, there is a great moment where she says she's talking to Ruth Roman and she says, "And your daughters, are they employed?" And I thought, "Bitch, did they look employable to you?"
yeah, but I mean, we get the answer to that where what is it? Alba teaches tennis, and
Sometimes,
yeah, and Jermaine does the occasional TV commercial.
which is wild.
For what do you imagine? Like
I,
toothpaste?
not shampoo, I can tell you that much.
Yeah. So next we
This
go
is
to
like this movie's a drag queen's dream.
yeah. I mean, not colorful enough, but sure, I can see it.
I
So
mean, like old school drag queen, like
okay, yeah.
Ruth Roman alone.
Oh yeah. When they called them transvestites.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we go to meet Baby, who is a grown ass man in his 20s, maybe his 30s. It's kind of hard to tell. The 70s is a little murky when it comes to age.
Look,
And he's
I gotta wonder: has this guy ever even seen a baby before?
I think
Because
that
he is playing this like fucking Helen Keller in The Miracle Worker. Like
listen,
he is writhing around, is wobbling his head back. Like, look, babies are curious. They're not like wounded animals.
I have done the baby thing twice, and it is if you're trying to communicate infant to me, he's doing a pretty good job. Like he doesn't have the
He's
focus.
like infant with a head injury.
Yeah, but I mean, also
Yeah.
he might have a head injury. Like they don't treat him very well.
That's true.
No, so it is feeding time now, and
This was when I thought, did everybody in this movie feel really stupid pretending this man is a baby? They must have.
It must have been.
I mean, I get like that's what makes you an actor and me an idiot on a podcast, but still, I'd have a really hard time doing that.
It had to have been. They probably had to like reconcile some shit within, because it's got to be really really weird to be in the presence, even when your expectation as a person is going to be acting. When a person is acting like that, though, like it's weird, man. And there's like a whole sub fetish scene of people who do this. Maybe I hope they're taking notes.
I had a long conversation about that last night, and I just kept saying, I don't know. I don't know how it works, and I don't want to know.
I don't. That's you know what? I hope everybody's enjoying themselves. I'm fine, living in the dark.
Yep.
So it's feeding time. Jermaine's got crazy eyes.
Yeah, she does.
And she Anne asks to feed baby, who again is a grown-ass man in an oversized high chair being spoon-fed like an actual baby. His behavior is every bit an infant. And he coos and he squeals and he has the same lack of focus that a baby has. And then next we cut to a scene where Mrs. Wadsworth is massaging baby's legs.
Oh, I didn't like this at all.
No. When they do this stuff is when I'm like, come on. Because the movie's fucked up enough without the weird sexual angle.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you right now, there is more than one in my notes that just says, holy fucking shit.
Yeah. Because she's like massaging him with copious amounts of some kind of cream. And it's completely unnecessary because
it's greasy. The whole thing's greasy. I don't like any of it.
And it's probably really hot on the set with lots of lights. It's also California. And so it's just
my note actually says, this makes me uncomfortable.
I can feel it. I can feel it when she's doing it. And it's like, I don't want to feel it. But the thing is he moves around. Like we'll see him like crawl and shit. So it's not like his muscles are at threat of atrophy or something like that. He just doesn't walk.
And then Anne kisses him on the forehead, like a regular social worker.
Yeah. But this is when we also learn that Anne is hanging around the Wadsworth's house like a lot. We find out.
This is when they're walking to the car.
Yes.
Right?
So no, right. It's right before that. So this is where we find out that she's been to the Wadsworth's house like 3 times in a week when she's really only supposed to be checking on them like twice a year. And
I would say whoever was checking on them twice a year was a little bit remiss in their duties.
Yeah. But back at the office, Anne's boss is giving her, understandably, a hard time for spending so much time with the Wadsworths because she has other cases. And he insists that, or rather, she insists that something wrong is happening in the house, and she's not wrong. But it's a perfectly reasonable assumption to make. We learn something strange here also, that the last caseworker for the Wadsworths mysteriously vanished.
Yeah. Also, you're never going to get answers to any of these questions. So
yes, I got a little speculation in here a little later on. But her boss is like, "Hey, people disappear all the time," and it's like, that's kind of.
Hey, buddy, no, they don't.
Yeah, usually they quit.
Also, you should be concerned if you have an employee that just doesn't show up ever again.
Yeah. Yep.
At work or anywhere else.
Also, this was the time of this was the 70s where people would fucking become a victim to a serial killer and the cops would be like, "Hey, what do you want us to do? Kids run away all the time."
Them?
Yeah. Yeah, like this was prime Dean Coral era.
Ugh.
Yeah. So the next day, Anne's back at it, playing with baby, while Jermaine looks on troubled. Insisting that
Jermaine has got some wild lesbian energy.
Well, yeah, and it comes out here.
Yeah.
She insists that baby isn't as smart or capable as he seems, and then in walks Alba, who we learn is basically the polar opposite of Jermaine, where Jermaine's behavior is like a naive teenage girl in an adult's body. Alba is like a bitchy teenager, and she's really
kind of a monster.
She's fucking terrifying.
I mean, she is Sherry Moon's character from what's that second one?
Oh, you know the one.
Devil's Rejects.
Devil's Rejects. Yeah. Her face also is in a permanent frown throughout this entire movie. She's really rough with baby and seems to have no compassion for him. And so they kind of leave the scene, and then Jermaine and Anne talk a bit as they walk back to her car. And the whole time, Anne has been introducing herself as Mrs. Gentry. Mm-hmm. But now they talk about her husband, and she refers to him in the past tense.
And this is the greatest soap opera moment in this film. because she says Roger was an architect, and then she stops and freezes,
Yeah.
and they focus, and the only thing that's missing is that great musical sting.
Yeah. Yep. So it's almost as though he's dead. It's like he said, like a troubled look comes over her face. And meanwhile, Jermaine seems into Anne,
Yeah, she is.
like into her. She's like, "Tell me, do you like physical exercise?"
Yeah, do you ever want to go hiking and make out with a lady? I mean, she doesn't say it, but she
No,
says it.
no.
You know?
But what she does say is so yeah. She basically says, "You want to go hiking with me?" And Anne says, "I usually spend Saturdays with Roger, who is this guy fucking dead or is he not?" But Jermaine replies, "You never know what you're missing until you try it." Indeed, Jermaine.
Holy fucking shit.
Yep. But Anne
Also,
is
like, that would be like the least inappropriate thing they do in this movie.
yeah, yeah. But Anne is a Scorpio, she tells her, and they're cautious. But just before she drives away, Jermaine informs her Scorpios are not cautious, they're dangerous.
What the hell?
Yeah, take that. Just keep a little note there. And so that night, Anne looks at a series of slides of her and her husband.
Anne just sits up drinking, watching a slideshow of her maybe dead husband.
Maybe alive, we don't know. Anne bears a terrible guilt over whatever it was that happened to him. We don't know. She hasn't said it yet. It's not clear.
This is when I was like, oh, baby reminds her of her dead husband.
Yep.
And then I thought, oh, I don't like where this is going. And guess what, y'all? That's where it's going.
Yeah. So in her grief, her mother-in-law comforts her. And I got to tell you, their relationship is so fucking strange.
Because this is a character that they were like, should we give her more lines or something?
No.
And then
Let
they were
her
like,
just-
you know what? It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then you get to the end and you're like, wait, she's crazy?
Yeah. I love it. I fucking love it because she just looms. And like she just like emerges from the shadows.
And she's a very severe. Yeah, she's got a real Max Shrek energy. She just kind of like shows up.
Yeah. So back at the Wadsworth's house, a babysitter watches over baby.
Adrian King is just babysitting one night.
I thought the same thing too. I was like, oh my God, it's Adrian King. It's not.
It is not Adrian King.
It's not, but it looks like her, like a lot like her.
Because this surely would have tanked Adrian King's career.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't have gotten her in Friday the 13th for sure. But yeah, she's talking to her boyfriend or something, and we can hear baby crying from upstairs.
The conversation is great though, because all you hear her say, "Now, what kind of question is that? Of course I'm wearing panties."
Yeah. Just before she hangs up, she's like, "Fine, I'll try to come over later, and yeah, I'll leave him off."
God damn it.
Yep. So we go up with the sitter and find baby in his room in need of a diaper change.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
like this either.
Nope. No, I don't. But there's also a very strange detail to the room. The walls are covered in really fucking disturbing art.
I have a note about one of them later.
So it looks like it might have been created by a child, but here's the thing. Baby doesn't have that like level of development. Like
No, he can't even hold his head up without fucking waggling all over the place.
Right. Like it requires a concerted effort and both hands to catch a very slowly rolling ball. Like there's no way this kid did the art in this room.
One of my favorite ones. It looks like it's like straight out of the Babadook. It's like
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's baby holding the hand of what I'm gonna guess is supposed to be a sister, but it just looks like a giant hooker.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, I think you mean sex worker, and I say, no, I mean a hooker. Like this is like Frankenhooker. Like
Yeah. No, literally, they have a hook hand.
yeah, like it is monstrous.
It's so fucking strange.
/ hilarious.
Yeah, but like so this just kind of sets the table for this horrifying scene where she goes in and she's going to put another diaper on him, and we cut to a close up of baby just enjoying the process of having his business cleaned up and this diaper changed. And
that's not all. That is not where the scene ends. It actually gets worse.
It gets fucking 1,000 times worse because like he's, now he wants to play and he wants to get out. So she plays with him a little bit and she throws his like teddy bear and he dives for it and he bonks his head and it erupts into this like these horrifying like ear piercing wails. And she goes to like comfort him and sort of quiet him down. And he,
You ever read The Grapes of Wrath?
uh, she,
It's the end of The Grapes of Wrath, everybody.
yeah, he like latches on and is like trying to like nuzzle and like breastfeed. And she's like, no, baby, no, no. And then eventually is like, oh, maybe, baby. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
she gives
okay.
in way
Okay,
too easily.
okay. And then she like opens her shirt and just hands it over to him. But now we cut to the Wadsworth ladies returning from wherever they were.
They look like they had a great time.
They
Wherever
did. They did. And Alba ate too many egg rolls. So they were out for Chinese food. And they walk in on this horrifying scene just as the sitter seems to be like really enjoying herself and understandably horrified. They begin to beat the fucking shit out
the
of
sitter
this
says
girl.
nothing happened. And Ruth Roman says nothing happened with your damn tit in his mouth. And you call that nothing?
And then she whips
it's
her
not
with
a great Ruth Roman, but I quit smoking. So I do what I can. Okay?
It's pretty good. She whips her with a belt.
Well, my question was, why does Baby have an adult woman's belt in his bedroom? I guess for whipping.
For whipping, yeah. Yeah. Because we're going to find out they've got like implements of torture. So, yeah. But, yeah, what is it? Yeah, and if you, Alba says, like, if you tell anybody, we'll call the police and tell them you were molesting a mental case.
Yep.
So, yep. So, yeah, and so now it's the next day, or, you know, it's just some other day. And Anne returns again, finds Alba with Baby. And Mrs.
They're outside.
Wadsworth,
He's in a giant wooden playpen wearing what I think is an Angora sweater in the summertime.
Oh, it must have been so hot. It looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah, everything about this movie is uncomfortable. The clothing, the furniture, the toys. I'm just like, God, it all looks just like abrasive and terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mrs. Wadsworth isn't around because she's off playing bridge every Tuesday and Thursday. Alba is particularly guarded with Anne, and they spar a little bit. And then,
but in Alba's defense, Anne's kind of an asshole.
And here's the thing: Anne is like,
Anne, mind your fucking business, all right?
If, like, the thing is the Wadsworths are objectively fucked up people. Like this is.
Oh yeah, no, everything about their relationship with, I mean, I guess everybody is antagonistic.
Yeah, but
in kind of a fun way.
Like, well, yeah, like I like the people they hang out with, but like at the same time, Anne is really inappropriate. Like she's not doing what she's supposed to do. She's obsessed.
No, like out the gate, she is a lunatic.
Yeah. So the phone rings and then Alba goes to get it. And so with some one-on-one time with Baby, Anne remarks, I bet you'd like a playmate. So write that down.
Mm-hmm.
And then she helps Baby to stand up just in time for Mrs. Wadsworth to see him. And she is upset with this. They talk a little bit, and Anne suggests that she sends Baby to a school for developmentally disabled children. And Mrs. Wadsworth is resistant, but her protection of Baby at this point actually seems kind of genuine. And the three women in the house go out of their way to like protect him. There seems to be some hidden motive that we're gonna get a real good look at, but like in the moment, it appears like we got to keep this guy like this so we can keep the checks rolling in.
A spoiler: that hidden motive is misogynistic.
So the differences between Mrs. Wadsworth and Anne is all like in Anne's optimism. And so Mrs. Wadsworth asks for a sort of demonstration of Baby's potential. And so Anne plays fetch with Baby, who can catch the ball, but he won't return it. And like as he's going to get it, he keeps like looking over his shoulder at his mother, who's like giving him like the dagger eyes.
I mean, like, this movie is a bizarre trip, but I gotta say, Ruth Roman, she's really acting the shit out of this part.
You got to give it to her. She's so good, man.
Like, I think she's great in this.
She's definitely like one of my favorite characters, and it's something just about her presence.
I feel like she kind of had like this. She's a bit of a one-trick pony. Like, I feel like this is how she's in everything I've ever seen her in. This is basically the character she plays.
Tough chick.
It's that real kind of like jaded, I've seen it all. Sure, you'll take me out, but you're really going to end up with her type of lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a real Stockard Channing.
Yeah, for sure. So Mrs. Wadsworth informs her that even a dog can do that.
You call that progress? Even a dog can do a trick like that.
Yeah.
God bless you, Ruth Roman.
Yeah. So once Anne is gone, however, she's very disappointed in Baby, who speaks for the first time. And he just says, "Mama." All the while, a dour cello piece plays. And now we cut to Alba punishing Baby with a fucking cattle prod.
This is where it starts to feel like a Herschel Gordon Lewis,
Yeah. So she's like shocking him, and then we cut
but without the humor.
Yeah, and we cut to the like close-ups of her like shocking him with like this horrible sneer. She's like, "Baby doesn't talk." It's in the trailer, and then Jermaine comes up and she's like, "Stop! You're gonna kill him!" And she's like, "He's got to learn. This is how we do it." And then Mrs. Wadsworth comes in and takes the cattle prod away, shocks Alba with it, and then and then right before the scene kind of cuts over, she goes, "Get him in the closet."
And I thought, well, wait a minute. You don't want to cattle prod him, but you're going to lock him in the closet?
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have children. I don't know. Maybe that's just what you do.
Nah. So that night, Jermaine sneaks into his room I know.
This feels like an afterthought, and is an afterthought that should have been left out.
So this whole fucking angle could have been omitted entirely, because without it, the movie remains the same. It's
She's
just
gonna have
as
sex with
upsetting.
him, everybody.
Yeah.
She's gonna have sex with him.
She
That
takes
is what
off.
is
She
implied.
comes in this like slinky little negligee, and then she takes it off and steps into his crib, and it cuts there. But like the implication is so dire and gross. Like, like we just didn't need to do this, you know.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. The next, again, like we cut to, I keep saying the next day, but it's really kind of unclear. And then the flow of time in this doesn't really matter.
It could be 4 days. It could be 8 years. Who knows?
Anne goes to the special kids school to meet with the director.
The school for exceptional children.
That's what it says on the sign, yeah. And we see kids at play in the scene that, okay, so I kept seeing that people were like, this is exploitative and this is offensive. But I didn't really see it that way. Like this is just the environment. Well, here's the thing.
It's exploitative in that way that The Sentinel is, where it's like you're trotting out these children to be in this movie. These kids are probably just students at this school that don't want to be in your movie. It's that kind of thing where like you're putting them on display in a weird way. It could have been a lot worse.
It may have been. I suppose that the intention at the time was shocking, because this whole movie is like shocking, right? But the thing is the way that this school is portrayed is like a warm and caring environment where it's just children playing and you see them like helping one another. And there's like people who are like there to see to their best interests. Like it's not like,
yeah, I mean, I think the issue is that they shouldn't really be in the movie at all.
Yeah, I guess.
Like that. It's like The Sentinel. It's like you don't need this.
That is the thing. Like just like I said in the last scene, you could have done this just going to the school and talking to the director without the whole scenes with the children, because the children all appear quite sweet. But
they're just children in a school.
Yeah, like they
don't need to be there.
This is a far cry from like the Willowbrook State School. You know, like this is not. It's not the way that's portrayed is not the way that I think it was supposed to come across. Like,
but when people say shit like that, I'm always like, what fucking movie are you watching? Of course it's exploitation. Have you seen the rest of this movie?
Yeah. The expectations are a little.
It's 1973.
Yeah.
This is pristine compared to a lot of the shit that was being cranked out.
Yeah. So Anne is now talking to the director of the school, and she's talking about Baby.
In the saddest office I've ever seen.
Yeah, the offices in all of this are like pure bureaucratic nightmare. But yeah, she's talking to the director about Baby in a kind of metaphorical manner. But hold on to this thought. She asks him, "Can you imagine being buried alive?" And what she's talking about is Baby being stuck in his place, like emotionally. But hold on to that.
Yeah, but if you wanted to turn the tables, say.
Yeah. So she's talking to him. She's telling that she thinks that he's stuck in this state because of negative reinforcement. And she's right. The Wadsworths are also supposed to meet her at the school, but they never show up. And when Anne calls them, Jermaine answers and
This
tells
is
her
when
to,
Anne loses her goddamn mind.
yeah, oh God, yes. Because Jermaine says, call your boss, who she does, who then removes her from the case. And holy shit. This,
Hey,
like, the
that
entire,
boss made the right choice.
he fucking did. Yeah. So from there, Anne drives over to the Wadsworth's house to confront Mrs. Wadsworth on the porch, and they argue. And then Mrs. Wadsworth says, "You want him for yourself," which would
To which
seem,
I said, what?
yes, it would seem like a pretty reasonable thing to assume, given how invested Anne is in baby's welfare. But that's also ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, why would Anne want a developmentally disabled adult?
Why?
Oh no.
Why would she? So back at home, we find out that Anne is having a swimming pool installed in her backyard. And we also learn that Mrs. Wadsworth called and asked that Anne call her back, which she does. But something peculiar happens here. Her mother-in-law picks up one of the other phones in the house and listens in. So to younger listeners, that was a thing that you used to be able to do. Somebody would make a phone call. You'd run over to one of the
I
other
thought you were
phones,
going to say
pick it
something with the swimming pool, and I was like, no, I think kids understand what swimming pool
up.
is.
No. The
You
telephone.
were talking about the rotary phone.
Yeah, the way that you could like pick up another
The
phone
extension,
and just
if you
listen to somebody else's call. Yeah. So she goes over.
But then
and
I thought, well, why is she just listening to the call? She's not going to say anything. Just fucking tell her what she said when you're done.
Yeah.
You don't have to be all weird and cryptic about it. But you know what? You're already weird and cryptic. So
Yeah, but
I
you know what
guess
else? You know
lean
what
in.
else? They get to frame her against a backdrop of that like that weird like knife collection that includes
Yeah,
what
you
I
know who
might.
should have made this movie? Brian De Palma.
Yeah.
I
Oh
think it would
God,
have
with
been really great.
with a split screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so she's there with like all these knives behind her, and one of them, what you might call Chekhov's meat axe.
Mhm.
There's also a machete, among other knives.
A
So
thing you use in the kitchen at home.
yeah,
A machete.
and a gigantic meat axe that looks like it takes two hands to wield. So Mrs. Wadsworth apologizes for her behavior earlier that day, tells Anne that they intend to cooperate, but they also invite her to baby's birthday party where she could see
Oh, man.
baby in a loving environment surrounded by friends and family.
Surrounded by a bunch of weird hippies.
The party is an absolute freak show.
What the fuck is this party?
It's all
Who
like-
are these people? Where did they come from, and why don't they think this is weird?
They're all the local like hopheads and dopers and
They
whatever
really
whatever
are.
else.
And I just thought, like, why when this shit gets portrayed in movies, because this is it's like it feels like it's pulled out of like an episode of Dragnet.
I was gonna say this is everybody at this party is everybody that they ever arrested on Dragnet.
Yeah, why does it always feel like when they portray movies like drug parties in movies in the 60s, it just feels like a fucking absolute drug-fueled nightmare.
It's like a orgy of madness, like just.
But in like a real low rent house, it's like maybe someone was killed there not too long ago.
Yeah, perhaps in the basement.
And then they all start dancing, and it's just like they all look like a bunch of white people in an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, yes.
It's real swinging time, but
Yeah,
nobody
it's that-
really knows how to dance. They just sort of shake their arms around a little bit.
It's that canned like library rock music that they use when like they just don't want to hire a band to like write a song or whatever. And it all sounds the same. It's like in every beach party movie, in every Giallo, it's the same like just session musicians just jamming, and then it ends
But
up in
I'll tell you what's different. Jermaine really spruces up that wig. this
my
time
God,
around.
dude. So yeah, so now her hair is all like frizzed up and teased out.
Now, if you have never seen the movie, it is frizzed up to begin with. It is the ratted, fucking matted madness wig. I have never seen anything like it, and now she has done more to it.
Yeah, and also a thing that I
The
noticed.
only way to get rid of this wig at the end is to burn it.
Animals have taken up occupation of this wig. Also, her makeup in this scene is also particularly strange, and also they light
It's like
her,
something from Night of the Demons.
They light her from the bottom, so
Which everyone always looks great when you light them from the bottom.
yeah.
Ever take a selfie of yourself with your camera sort of pointed down? It's like that, but if you're wearing a real disgusting ratty wig.
Mm-hmm. So now Anne is now hit on by Dennis, who is a self-described skin freak while he smokes a joint.
Skin freak. You got beautiful skin. Hey, I'm just a skin freak. Jesus, Dennis.
Yep. Are you a dermatologist?
He's like 45 years old.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing is he's described.
Which, I mean, no shade, because, you know.
I know, but like this is definitely there's an age difference between him and Alba because he's one of her. What Jermaine says, he's one of Alba's many beaux.
Alba's got real bad taste, I think.
Alba's
I'm judging based on this one guy, but something tells me
Alba's got a thing, and we're gonna get a little glimpse into that world in a moment. But there's something going on there. So
I mean, and it's not just Dennis. Like, I feel like every man at this party is at least 20 to 25 years older than every other woman.
Yeah,
except Ruth Roman,
Yep.
who comes breezing into the scene in her sparkliest, shiniest caftan.
Yep. So while trying to shake him, Anne explains that her husband isn't here because he was hurt in an accident. So the ambiguity is just they're tightening it. It's getting crazier. Is he alive? Is he hurt? Is he dead? Probably not at this point because
At this point, I was just kind of like, is Anne supposed to be the protagonist of this movie? She is thoroughly unlikable.
That's the thing. So the very first time that I watched,
like, who am I rooting for? Ruth Roman.
Well, here's the thing. This is kind of the point where that switch turns because when I
this is where it becomes a different movie.
Yeah, when I first watched this, I was like, okay, Anne's weird, but these people are weirder. So, like, yeah, she's the good guy. But then this scene happens. And also, like, the stuff right before it where, like, she kind of melts down about, like, losing control of this family. So all of a sudden, like, a switch turns and it's like, okay, maybe the Wadsworths aren't as bad. Maybe she's worse. We don't really know yet, but like they're tightening the screws a little bit. And also in this scene, Mrs. Wadsworth talks to Baby and about Baby, like with everybody around her in this way that's.
Oh, and Baby is dressed like Uncle Sam.
Yep.
Just for the party. You know what? If anyone's listening to this conversation, they would think, what the fuck are they talking about? But no, this is exactly how this movie unfolds.
Yeah. So the point I was trying to get to is Mrs. Wadsworth's affection for him does seem genuinely motherly and real. Everything surrounding that is fucked up and bad and wrong, but like there's that little kernel at the center of it that in this moment, as Anne is starting to kind of come apart, I think this is the part where the movie is really kind of good at sort of ratcheting up the tension and manipulating the viewer, because all of a sudden I'm like, maybe the Wadsworths aren't as bad. Like, I mean, presented with this pool of characters, I kind of got to switch my allegiances at this moment.
Oh, no, I was kind of on Ruth Roman's side from the beginning. And not just because of the sparkly caftan, but that helped.
Yeah. So we also see that things worked out with the babysitter because she's at the party too.
Well, keep your mouth shut. You get invited to this swinging party.
Yep. Hey, no hard feelings, right? I mean, shit happens.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to get beat with a belt, but you get to go to a party later. Story of my life.
Yep. Oh, also, this is the part where Mrs. Wadsworth offers Anne a drink. And she's got these fucking great lines that I wrote down. She tries to like give her like some liquor, and she says, "Hey, this will help you get with it."
Oh yeah, no, this is real. Like, old lady tries to sound hip.
Yeah, because she also says like, "Hey, like why don't you let down your hair and hang loose?"
Because she does. Ruth Roman takes to the dance floor, and it is the greatest scene in the movie.
She grabs Elliot and says, "Elliot, let's work out," and then they go dance.
And this is when I made the note about how everybody looks like they're dancing like an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. I love groovy hippie slang. Like that shit is the best.
And it goes without saying, there are no black people at this party.
don't be.
They are all white. Everybody in this movie is white.
Yep. So Alba and Anne get into the most intense game of darts of all time.
Which seems like a real weird choice.
I want to take her side
Why
and be like,
darts? Do you
just be
think like whoever, what's her face, Anjanette Comer was like, you know what I'm really good at? Darts. Can we work that in?
well,
Probably.
it's also because she's like, I think it gives her a chance. Like, this is a moment where she's like, because she's whipping them at the dartboard, and
Oh
her,
no, yeah. She is definitely selling I'm going crazy.
yeah, and she's like, she has all sorts of like weird like grind set mindset mantras that she keeps throwing at Alba, like
And
losing
even
it.
Alba's just like,
Like,
I
get
don't
the
know about
fuck, what
this.
the fuck? Like, loosen up a little bit, because she's saying stuff like, losing is an option, isn't an option when you're a winner. Like all kinds of weird shit, and she's like, like really winging the darts at the dartboard. Just want to take her aside and be like, hey, it's just darts. Like, chill out. But yeah, like we're supposed to be getting the vibe. Like she's not having it. So while this is happening and her drink is unattended, Jermaine fixes Anna a drink with a little something extra in it.
Yeah, the old Cosby special.
Yep. And this is the baby and mama have a moment we kind of talked about. We see that her love is fucked up and weird, but she seems to be holding him in place for some grim purpose, to keep him pure or whatever. But her love does seem to be real. Meanwhile, the effects of whatever is in Anne's drink take hold.
That's called Rohypnol.
Yeah. And the girls escort her to the basement where she's gagged and tied up. And it's a little shadow play to explain what may have happened to the previous caseworker. Because
But they don't really explain it.
No, they
It's just
don't.
kinda
They don't. But like
eh.
you can infer this from what's
You
happening.
really got to put a lot of pieces together yourself in this one.
Yeah, well, also I watched this movie like a bunch of times in relative succession, so it was all fresh in my mind, and I'm like, oh shit, this is probably what happened to the last caseworker. Got a little too close. So, baby, seeing the ladies come out of the basement, crawls down, finds Anne
Well,
there.
you didn't say why they have to come out of the basement.
Well,
Dennis is being relentless.
Oh yeah. He wants Alba to come up and dance with him. And so, the party is still going on. So they all go back upstairs to kind of like deal with that. Anne's there tied up. And then baby crawls down and finds her there. And after a little bit of play, he helps her get the gag off. And then she frees
I mean, not really, though. I feel like she could have done this all on her own. She didn't really need him. Maybe she just needed an audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. She frees herself on a saw blade while Alba tortures Dennis the Menace with a lighter. And he says, I'd do anything to get to paradise, but does it have to be in an ambulance?
And you know that when they wrote that line, they were like, God, that's good.
That's a good line. That is a good line.
I'm going to tell you right now, no, it's not.
That's a great line.
It's really fucking terrible.
That's so funny. So now the party's over. Everybody's gone. And they kick out Dennis the Menace. The ladies conspire to go downstairs and kill Anne, but they find her gone.
Gasp.
I know.
She's not there.
They do find her just in time to see Anne driving away with baby. They try to chase her, but find that Anne slashed her tires. Mrs. Wadsworth goes, she thinks of everything.
Lady, that is not everything. That is one thing. She thought of one thing.
Yeah, unless she like also, she put sugar in the gas tank.
For a second, I thought she did, and I was like, God damn it, that's great. But she didn't. It's just the tires.
Yep. So back at Anne's, we find out that Mrs. Wadsworth was right. She wanted him all for herself. And Mrs. Wadsworth, meanwhile, so like what's happening is Anne is like giving him a bath. And she's like, you're mine now, and I'm going to love you, take care of you.
Now, I should say, until tonight, I had not seen this movie in a couple of years. And this is when it started to sink in. And I thought, oh my God, is she going to fuck this guy? Is
okay.
that what this is about?
Okay, because we kind of get around to it. Like, I don't think that...
Because I was not ready for that, and I'm still not okay with it.
Right, because like, she's got the... Okay, fuck it. We'll sort of explore that when we get there, because that's like kind of the last note of the movie. But yeah, I think the thing is this guy just cannot escape that, which is so.
I mean, he must be very alluring because
I know all these ladies love him. So yeah, Mrs. Wadsworth.
I mean, it seems like a burden to me, but
yeah, for sure.
Not to the mother-in-law and Anne. Because
No.
now the mother-in-law is fully in on this.
Yep.
And this is like some weird Grey Gardens shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Mrs. Wadsworth is despondent, and Alba says, "We should have let that circus take him when they made that offer." She's like, "You think your brother's a freak?"
To which I wonder, why would he be in a circus?
Oh, he'd be a sideshow thing.
If anything, he's just developmentally delayed or disabled.
Oh, but you could hear the carnival barker just in your mind. You
I
know,
guess.
come see
I
the
don't
man
know.
baby, alive, 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 the
I mean,
man
some
baby.
people are into that.
Yeah. I mean,
Hell,
by
I
this
don't know.
point in the 70s, I mean, sideshows were probably scraping the barrel, you know? Like, that seems like it was like a Dust Bowl thing, you know? But, yeah, Anne and Judith, her mother-in-law, are now plotting something.
Yeah, because Judith is now fully on board. She goes from being like, well, it's real sad about what the fuck his name is. And now she's just like, well, do you think we should kidnap this disabled man and bring him into our house forever?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yep. Because those two, we're going to find out they're on the same page. Like,
Yeah. She gets on board really fucking quick.
yep. So the workers are there, like working on the pool, and they're ready to lay the pool proper. But Judith tells them to hold off for a bit. Judith asks her if she wants to go through with it, worried that she'll be just like them. And then the two of them proceed to take pictures of baby standing while wearing a suit. And then she sends the pictures to the Wadsworths with a taunting letter.
That shit is real cold.
Yeah, man. Because like the whole thing is like the letter's like even if you get him back, the transformation will be irreversible. Baby will be lost to you forever. And
What the fuck?
She signs it a Good Samaritan or something like that.
Oh yeah, they're not gonna think it's from you, Anne, you
No.
idiot.
So that night,
I don't think they thought this one through very well.
no, because well, Anne did, as we're gonna find out. Like, this is very
What?
carefully plotted. Like, this is some Machiavelli shit.
Oh no, this goes full Last House on the Left.
Yeah. Yup. Nobody gets their dick bit off, though.
No, but everything else.
Yep.
There's no chainsaw, but everything else.
No, so, so that night, the Wadsworths go to Anne's house, and then the two girls break in, and this is where a movie that's already taken
This is
about
Act 3, everybody.
about a dozen crazy turns takes a crazy turn.
And it has real leave something witchy vibes to it. Like it's
I
just
also
the visuals of it. I was like, ugh, I don't know if I like this.
yeah, but I love this because they use, like, you could tell that Post was like a TV guy, because the music as the girls are like slinking around the house and being sneaky is very like Hardy Boys sneaking around.
Oh yeah, no, this is the first time in the music I was like, God, I kind of love this score.
Yeah, because also like they keep cutting back and forth, because they'll go back to Ruth in the car, and it's that like cello motif that they keep playing, and then they go back to the girls, and it's like this muted trumpet that's like wow 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 wow.
Real sexy stuff.
Yeah, and Jermaine also brought a gun, by the way, but it's not gonna do much to help her.
But she pulls it out. It's like she looks like she's surprised that she has it with her.
Yep, like she reached into her purse and was like, "Oh shit, that's right."
She reached into her gunny sack dress and found a gun.
Yeah, but yeah, as soon as she's in, she got the gun out. She hears upset baby sounds coming from upstairs, and she follows them in. And then meanwhile, like, Alba is also kind of slinking around as well, and she eventually comes to the same door and goes in. She finds all of Jermaine's stuff there, and then she kind of marches into the gloom, and kind of that's the last look we get at her for a while. Mrs. Wadsworth eventually becomes impatient, and she also sneaks up in there, and they are not dressed for an infiltration. Like, they're all wearing like skirts and heels and shit.
What do you think they should wear?
I don't know, like robber
Are you
stuff?
thinking like that scene in Cry Baby where they go and rescue her from the amusement park at the end, and they're all dressed in weird black leather?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, or like sneaking around stuff, you know, a balaclava.
Wear her sneaking around wig.
So, she's wandering around the dark as she enters into the main room. Something wet drips onto her face. She looks up and finds Jermaine's dead body slumped over the railing, bleeding from the neck.
And I thought, Is it really that believable that Anne goes from fucking zero to psychotic killer in what, 3 weeks?
This is like jigsaw shit. Like yeah, she has a murderous resolve. Like this is what she had always planned was we're gonna infiltrate this family and I'm gonna insinuate myself into their lives and then I'm gonna steal their baby man away and then I'm gonna lure him over here and kill the shit out of him.
But also, how fortuitous that she just happened upon this situation.
I know.
It's like, well, I have been in the market for a baby man.
Yeah.
And one just fell into my lap.
She's looking through all these case files and she's like, well, how fortunate.
Yeah. I never thought I'd find another one.
But then she had to go through, then she had to like mechanically plot this whole thing out and just make sure that everything went according to plan and that she didn't get removed from the case. And then she could just snatch up the baby man and take him home for herself and then murder his family.
This movie was made by professional people.
Bravo. It's such a fucking bulletproof
It was
plan.
put into theaters.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. So seeing Jermaine bleeding, Mrs. Wadsworth rushes upstairs to sort of cradle her in her arms, just in time for
but there's
Alba.
more.
Yeah, for Alba to stumble out of one of the rooms with a knife in her back.
With the jankiest looking special effects.
Yeah.
It looks like I did it.
If this were any other movie, it'd be a lot more blood. But it's a PG rated movie, and this is pure EC horror comics. Like somebody must have been reading Eerie or Vault of Horror or like, some of those, because this definitely has that vibe where it's a weird story that has a fucked up twist at the end where like the person you thought was the good guy is really the bad guy the whole time, and then there's mayhem and murder.
Yeah, but it's like in those comics they get their comeuppance.
That's
I'm not sure who is supposed to get their comeuppance. I don't know who the protagonist of this movie is anymore.
Yeah. What the fuck?
My
right?
note literally says, I'm so confused.
I love it. It takes another crazy, unexpected turn because, like we just said, Anne has been planning this all along. This was the end goal. It was always to steal a baby man, and then murder his family. So
what?
So as Mrs. Wadsworth is like cradling her other dying child, Anne leaps from one of the rooms and fights Mrs. Wadsworth. She's got a hatchet in her hand, and the two are like chasing each other all around with a hatchet. And then it hits a spot where like you'd think that Mrs. Wadsworth has the upper hand, but we've forgotten
because she gets the hatchet.
Yes, right. And it looks like she's gonna fucking kill Anne for a moment there.
But Anne's not alone.
No, we've forgotten that Anne's got help, that Mrs. Wadsworth didn't.
She's got that bird lady mother-in-law. Creeps out of the fucking shadows like Nosferatu.
Yep, with Chekhov's meat axe.
Yeah.
And now with two women attacking her, Mrs. Wadsworth leaps over the railing, falling to the floor below, hurting, possibly breaking her legs. And then we go down, they rush down, and Judith is about to deliver the killing blow. Like she comes like hauling ass around with this thing like Hassan Chop over her head. And
when did she get so on board with that? When was she like, oh, you're going to kill the family? Okay, cool. I'm in.
I know. Like
sounds good to me.
The condition of her son broke this woman as well as Anne.
Except they never let that on. Like you never get that until the end.
Oh, that's the crazy. That's the fucking twist.
Okay, but that's not how narrative works. You can't just drop it on us at the end.
Because
that's shitty writing.
They've been hinting at us the whole time.
Not with her, they haven't.
No. But like that's the weird like macabre twist. Like I think it's so great, mostly because of how committed to murder she is.
I mean, that's the saving grace of this, where you're just like, okay, I guess everybody's just fucking nuts now. And maybe they always have been, and I just didn't realize it because who cares?
Yep. So she's about to kill her. And Anne stops her and tells her to go get some rope. And as they tie her hands, we can hear baby upstairs crying. And Mrs. Wadsworth freaks out. And I'm going to tell you, I
Yeah, because
feel
Anne's not just psychotic; she's fucking sadistic now too.
yes, because there's a reason. She's not sparing her fucking life. Remember that thing
She has a better idea.
yeah, remember when I said, hey, put a pin in this when they were talking about being buried alive?
Now I was very confused at this point because I was like, "Wait, where are they? Do they have like a tomb of their own somewhere?"
They're at the bottom of the
It's
pool.
the swimming pool.
Yep. And so Mrs. Wadsworth is freaking out, understandably, as she and the two corpses of her daughters are thrown into the hole at the bottom of the pool, and Anne buries her alive. Now, you would think that that's the end of the movie,
Oh no, it gets worse.
but it's not, because the next day, it's the morning, and they go and they've got baby locked in a closet, as one does, and the two women check on each other. They're like, hey, how you feeling? Feeling great. I'm gonna go make some.
Last night was real crazy, right?
I'm gonna go make some coffee, she says. Yep. Just totally fine. The two women they just murdered some people, buried one of them alive in the backyard. Hey, it's all good, man. I'm feeling great. How about you?
We did the good thing last night. That was the right thing to do.
Yeah, but now we get to the final plot twist.
Oh, I didn't like this.
I did not either. I was watching this in bed and I audibly sat up and went, what the fuck? Because we go she gets baby out of the closet. She takes him into another room where there's a crib and a playpen and another man baby.
Oh no.
Yep. It's her husband, Roger.
Oh no.
Yep. Who's got some kind of like head wrapping. Like obviously this car accident that he was in, he hurt himself bad enough to sort of his brain was damaged to sort of reduce him to a grown
Also,
ass
is
man
it still like leaking out of his head? Why does he still have bandages on at this point?
I know, and also when they in the next scene they put like a swimming cap over it, like gotta keep it dry.
Oh no! But before you get to the next scene,
this
is the big reveal, and then she says, "Mommy loves her big baby husband," and I was so upset by that line. That is right up there with Susan Tyrrell saying, I'm your girlfriend now. And then my note actually says, in bold, holy fucking shit. And then the note after it says, oh my God, is she gonna fuck both these guys now?
Yeah, because so now we find out that this conspiracy wasn't just to steal baby. It was to steal baby so that her baby husband has a playmate.
You just said baby husband.
Baby husband. I'm going to say that a lot from now on.
Big baby husband.
Big baby husband.
Oh God, it's gross.
That's when we get some merch. We're getting a shirt that says "Big Baby Husband."
Oh Jesus!
Right after, right next to Borscht Belt Creep.
Oh God!
So also she presents them with gifts. They're pool toys,
which are just the ugliest, worst looking pool toys I've
They
ever seen.
went to the Five and Dime and like got some fucking pool times because they had a Five and Dime back then for sure.
Because everybody's like the 70s were so fun and kicky. No, this is what they looked like. Everyone had a big baby husband and wore ugly clothes and had terrible pool toys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Based entirely on this, the 80s was inevitable.
Oh.
So
it was just as bad, everybody. It was just as bad. We all looked ugly. Nobody was happy.
Nope.
Ronald Reagan was president. It's all because of this.
Yep. For Ted Post, goddamn you!
Jesus Christ.
So now with the pool finished, the three of them can play in it. And while Judith sits to the side, happily smoking away, watching them frolic in the pool above the dead bodies of babies' family, Anne is now in like a cute little bikini, and she jumps in and frolics very happily with them. And then we freeze frame on what appears to be Anne looking directly down the camera with a look of pure delight.
This is the most macabre fucking movie.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, the baby.
Oh, God.
Yep. I regret nothing. Yeah. This is a movie There's a few movies that I really wish that I could go back and see again for the first time, and this is one of them, because like that reveal at the end, it's ridiculous and it's stupid, but it's so fucking unexpected. And that's the thing. This movie is unpredictable from moment to moment. There are times when it feels a little dangerous, like you just can't see where it's going ever. There's no way to look around the corner. And if you're paying attention and you're playing along and you're trying to sort of plot this out in your head, you're never going to figure it out. Like you just cannot see where any of this is going or what it's.
But if you
or
look
what's-
at a comparable movie, if you think about something like Sleepaway Camp, which is another one of those like, wait till you get to the shocking twist, whatever. That movie is kind of tongue in cheek. It knows what it's doing. It's a little bit self aware. You know what it's doing.
Yeah.
This movie, they play this movie so fucking straight. Where you're just like, this is a weird melodrama. Okay, now there's a weird drug party / Scooby Doo dance, and then now, wait, did she just say big baby husband? Like
Yeah.
it just you don't expect it to go where it goes because that's not how stories work.
I see. Personally, I think this movie is in spite of all of the nonsense and the weirdness, I think it's very coherent. Like it's ridiculous.
No, this could be a good movie. It's just badly written.
Yeah.
It's a badly written film. It's not
It's-
the narrative structure is a little all over the place. It's not very well thought out. It's very clearly exploitation. It could be a good movie.
It's also
It actually is a good movie. It's not. It's an easy movie to watch.
it's tight, and like at no point there's sometimes like I'll be watching movies and I'll see like, how far along are we in this?
Yeah, next week's movie, I'll tell you, I got to the end of that one and was like, Jesus Christ, there's 20 minutes more.
Yeah, but in this one I don't do this. It's snappy, it moves along. There's not a lot of filler.
There is a lot of confusion.
There's a lot of confusion, but it's
Because it's like, because what they're doing is they're building up for all these big shocking reveals. It's like, okay, but you got to give me something a little bit before that. So when I get there, I'm not like, wait, what? Why does she have a tomb? Oh, right. She has a pool.
But you just freaked out over Big Baby Husband.
Because I don't like the line. Because I knew that was coming and I just don't like what she says. Because I don't like that phrase and I don't want anyone to ever say it again.
It's so, yeah. But you know what? I'm going to say it.
Oh,
Yeah. That's the thing. This movie is crazy unique. I can't think of anything comparable. It's something that is very much unto itself. I'm glad it exists. It's like I received this a million years ago when I was still doing Cinema Suicide, and Severin had put it out and they sent me a review copy. And I didn't watch it. Like I read the attraction copy, the summary on the back, and I was like, this sounds kind of shitty. Like, why would I want to spend my time on this? And then like recently, because I like really only just recently in the last couple of years came around.
yeah,
to
that's
this
probably
one.
because I watched it and was like, holy shit, have you seen this fucking movie?
It probably was, because that's kind of how a lot of like I'm filling in a lot of blind spots lately, and a lot of it is because you texted me and were like, holy shit, I just watched this. Have you seen this? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, I have a boyfriend who generally says, I don't care what we watch. So I watch a lot of really shitty movies.
Hey,
Some of them are hilarious.
Let's see what's on Tubi. So, yeah, what are we doing next?
Well, next week is a special moment, I believe. We are taking a break from our what the fuckery. And we are we watched Burnt Offerings.
Yep. And we got a guest.
Fantastic. We have a guest. We have the incredible Sam Pancake, who is the host of one of my favorite podcasts. Sam Pancake Sam Pancake presents the Saturday afternoon movie.
Monday afternoon movie.
Jeez.
Get it right. Say it right. Say it with pleasure.
My favorite. Well, it is. It is one of my favorite podcasts. He was an incredible guest. We have a great time watching this movie. It is a slow burn of a film that I think we all remembered being a lot better than it really was.
I still enjoy the hell out of it.
And yet we had a great time.
Yeah. But you know what? I want you to tease the last one in our What the Fuck series.
Oh, okay. Well, that's when it's gonna be the week after.
Yes.
And that is going to be the peanut butter solution.
Yeah. I know
Uh,
nothing about this movie.
it is nothing at all like The Baby, except it is deeply weird. It is very Canadian. And it does not make a lot of sense. And it stars one of the kids from Degrassi Junior High.
Sweet. All right, that was it. That was The Baby. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Actually, we'll see you in a week with Burnt Offerings, and then in the week after that with the Peanut Butter Solution.